Hello everyone, and welcome to the first of what I hope will be many videos on ArchestrA Graphics tips and tricks. My name is John Krajewski. I'm one of the members of the product management team here at Invencis Wonderware, responsible for the management of the InTouch and ArchestrA System Platform products. Today we're going to be introducing you to ArchestrA Graphics, which are the common mechanism to display a user interface on top of either an InTouch tag name dictionary or an ArchestrA System Platform object infrastructure. But these graphics are common. They can be used for either, and we're going to walk you through many of these examples here and how to use it today. So we're going to start here with introduction on some of the core values when using ArchestrA Graphics. So we are looking right now at InTouch, the runtime, with ArchestrA Graphics embedded. And so I'm going to use that to go ahead and walk me through my description here. First thing you need to understand about ArchestrA Graphics is that they accelerate the application development. They do actually make it much easier. Once you've got pre-tested elements, such as the ones I'm showing on the screen, it is very easy to assemble an application. And we'll show you examples of that as we go along. The other thing is that because you can embed graphics into other graphics, it makes it very easy to reuse them, which it makes it very easy then to standardize. So no matter how big or small the individual elements that you're going to repeat in your human-machine interface, you can always use an ArchestrA graphic to represent that. And the key value there is also that you'll be able to maintain that one graphic in one place. So you'll have your core graphic definition in your graphic toolbox, and you'll be able to manage that in a single place, and then you'll be able to see all those changes propagate should you need to manage that application later. So before I go on and start talking about the details here, I wanted to introduce you to an ArchestrA graphic that I've made to help facilitate showing some things off and testing them. So I've called this the ArchestrA Graphic Test Harness. You'll see it's got a series of booleans, floats, set points, triangle waves, and strings, and I'll be using that information to go ahead and simulate data and pump it into these graphics. So for example, you'll see in this gauge here, it's taking triangle 1 and it's displaying it on this gauge. And so it's going up and down and matching triangle 1. The PV here on my PID faceplate is actually float 1. So if I click this and turn on the control, you'll notice that it starts to follow the value of float 1. Float 1 now, since it's in control mode, is actually seeking the set point here, which is 75, which is the same set point down here. So if I go ahead and click the buttons to adjust it, you'll see that 79 is here, and it's also now as set point 1. The third element here, which is the stainless steel tank, this is actually pointing at triangle 2, and it does have another advanced behavior, so that now if I hover over the label section here, it'll actually grow or shrink the tank, which is an example of an advanced behavior. And the last element here, which is the pump, which I believe has been linked to Boolean 5, can just show green when it's on, and you can see that the fins are rotating on that pump. So what we'll do here is we'll give you a quick example of using ArchestrA Graphics. So what I'll first drop into is I'll drop into our development environment. So I'm going to swap over to the IDE, and I'm going to open up that test harness. And what I will do is I will take those graphic elements that I've got in place there, and I will go ahead and remove some of them. So I'm going to remove the, I'm going to zoom out a little bit to make it easier to see. I'm going to remove some of these. And then I'm going to take a simple example here of that gauge. So I'm going to go back and find that gauge. So I'm going to go to Analog Meters, Black and Chrome. I'm going to choose the same one I had before. And I'm going to go ahead and embed it into here. I'll access the custom properties of this because those are the namespace that makes it reusable, makes it very reusable. So you see here are the properties. You see there's a display digital, which I can set to true or false, which activates the digital display. I can set the min or the maximum and the value. And here you see the value of dash, dash, dash. That really is just kind of an indicator that you probably want to put a reference in here. So I could reference field data, or I could reference my test harness. And so in this particular case, I'm going to launch the browser, look into my element browser on my test harness, and I'm going to look for some of the variables. So, and here's an example of my test harness where I've actually got a pretty expressive namespace that already shows me all of the points that are exposed in the test harness. And I will use that to pump data into this gauge. So I've got triangle 1 picked here, and that's really all that needs to be done to use triangle 1, because I'm going to accept the defaults min and max of 100 and 0. So now if I wanted to use this one again, I can duplicate it and I can move it over here. I can then access the custom properties again. And instead of triangle 1 this time, I'm going to change it to triangle 2. Again, I can duplicate it if I wish to do so. And then I will go to the custom properties again. Select from triangle 2 to triangle 3. So now I'm going to go ahead and save my change. I'm going to go back over here and open it up again at runtime. You'll see that it's accessed my latest version, and you'll see that it's linking to values of triangle 1 and the first gauge, triangle 2 and the second, and triangle 3. So while it's the same core graphic, it is linked to multiple data points. So this is again part of the reusability and standardization. So I hinted at being able to manage this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to development mode. So even if I don't know where this symbol is, I can simply right click on it, go to embedded symbol, choose edit. So from here, I'm going to just make a simple change so that it'll be very visible. So I'm going to drop a graphic element on here, an ellipse, and I'm going to make it yellow. Well, I'll try to put it somewhere in the middle just so it sits there. And then I'm going to go ahead and save and close that. That should be all I need to do. So now I swap back over to runtime to test out my change, and you will see that my change has been propagated to all instances. So I don't need to manage them individually. Now, as I want to manage my application, I only need to manage my standard. And that is one of the core values of ArchestrA Graphics. Building it with ease of use, reusability, and easily managing those standards. Throughout the course of these series of videos, you'll see a lot of topics varying from very basic to very advanced to be able to suit many users' needs. So what I will also do is I'll take this test harness that I'm showing here, and I'll provide a link to it in the show notes so that if someone wants to actually take a look at this and make use of it, that you can also do so. Feel free to offer any comments in the feedback or any feedback in the comments section to be able to provide me information on what you might want to see next or what you thought worked good in the videos or bad. I look forward to seeing you next time. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.